what's up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of She's Got the Lead. If you all have made it here this far, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support. I probably said that last episode, but I'm going to be honest and very transparent on this podcast and throughout my journey. And I'm kind of going through a little rebrand. As you can see, the angle's a little bit different in my solo episodes. I know I mentioned last episode that when I have guests, it'll strictly be audio. I don't really know if that's going to stick, so we will see. Um, Also, I want to give you guys updates on my life. So, I will be moving back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for 3 months because I did accept the job to become the Friday Night Rivals sports reporter once again. So, I will be going back to report on Whippeal football. So if you all are in the area and want to connect and join my podcast virtually or in person, because I will be allowed to use their studio there, so I really appreciate them for that. Yeah, we can get to working. But today's episode, I think, is super important to talk about. It's something that all women go through, not just women in sports. So even if you are not interested in sports, I feel like this could be an episode for you to listen to because it's just something that all women go through. And I am recording this on July 7th because today is National Black Woman in Sports Day. So this is perfectly aligned with everything that I'm going to talk about today. And make sure you all share this podcast episode if you feel like it relates to you. Comment, share it, subscribe, anything to show support because I really feel like this is something that somebody may need to hear. So, today's episode is called The Power of Being the Only Woman in the Room: The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. So, I remember walking into media meetings and I look around and it will only be me. And I would always say to myself, like, okay, yes, I am the only girl in here. And not just the only girl in the room, but also the only black woman in the room. And at first, that used to kind of discourage me instead of motivate me because when you're working in a male dominant career field, you always feel like, am I meant to be here? Another thing would be, am I too masculine? Am I trying to be one of the guys? Do I not fit in? And mainly, are these men gonna really hear what I have to say? Will my voice even matter? And I'm here to kind of reassure everybody, any woman listening, your voice is going to matter because, for one, you always are gonna know what you're talking about. Like, there's no reason why you should feel like you don't fit in when you're in a room full of men. And I used to feel like that, and sometimes I still do. So this week I did have a job interview with a National Hockey League team. And I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting to get this interview or even get the opportunity to do what they were allowing me to do. I've never worked in hockey. I feel like hockey, even though there is a female league now, I feel like hockey is even more intense and male dominant than football is. And I enjoy working in football, but you do not see a lot of women in hockey. And I'm just like second guessing myself during that entire interview. I'm like, do I sound good? Are the fans going to listen to me? The fans being mainly white men. Are they going to listen to what a black girl has to say about their favorite hockey team? And the whole week after my interview, I'm just like, I don't know if I did good. I don't know if this is the space for me. Just kind of like second guessing myself, like, is reporting something that I really need to be doing? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to go back to school? Like, all of these things were kind of just flowing in my head. And I just had to kind of keep myself grounded in knowing what I know about myself. So, for one, I'm always the type of person to put myself out there, but also know the foundation and know that I've put in so much work just to get to this point. And the fact that I was able to even have an interview to allow my voice to be heard, that means that my feet were confirmed to be in this room. Like, even before they'll actually see me in person physically, like, my name is in this room for a reason. These people who went through, who recruited me or whatever, they chose me for an interview for a reason, because they want to hear what I have to say. And I say that to say, if you're ever second guessing yourself, you have to maybe go back down the line and look at what you've done. I always have to do that. I always have to think like, man, 3 years ago, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was at a school that I wasn't happy at, and I just decided to take a leap of faith. When I got to that new school, I was the first black woman to do this. I was the first black woman to do this. Now I made a name for myself where I went to school at, and getting interviews, and I'm becoming one of the only people in my class who had a full-time reporting job while still being in school. Like, sometimes you may have to backtrack and tell yourself, like, you did this, you accomplished this. Oh, remember when you did this? Remember when you weren't even prepared for this opportunity and you still showed up and you shocked the world? I feel like that's something as a woman that you're going to have to do in order to be confident to be in these rooms. And that's just something that I do personally to keep me grounded. Whatever you may do, just allow yourself to know and confirm to yourself, like, hey, I've done hard things before. I'm meant to be here. My name is in this room for a reason. My feet are in this room for a reason. Because working in certain areas, certain spaces, it can be intimidating. But as long as you reassure yourself that you are here for a certain reason, everything will work out. Another point that I want to prove about being the only woman in the room is like the pressure to always want to prove yourself to those people in the room. Like I was saying, you are in this room for a reason. Like, you're just not randomly stumbling up in here because, for one, to work in sports or in any career field as a woman, you have to be qualified. There's no way that you're just going to be in a room just because you're cute. And that's what a lot of people are going to assume. Like, oh, she's in here as eye candy. First of all, 9 times out of 10, you are not worried about what other people have going on or how attractive you may look. You are there to grow, like feed your own brain. You're there to get information. In my field, I'm here to be a media personnel. I'm here to network. And the the tendency to always want to prove yourself, I feel like, is going to come naturally being the only woman in the room. But I think there is more power in not having to want to prove yourself, to just be able to walk into a room and be content in knowing that you're here for a reason and you're going to stay in this room for a reason. And if anybody has anything to say about it, they can talk to you, or like, you just show them why you're there. Um, there's no need for you to always feel like, in my field, for example, feel like, oh my God, I have to know every player on the team. I have to know all of their stats. I have to know every coach, every media person. I have to know everything. Now, yes, as a woman, you do have to work harder just to get one step in comparison to your male peers. But I'm saying, like, you don't have to show that to people who are not finna hire you, okay? Like, if there's a person who works in media that's a guy and you're sitting right next to him, there is no need for you to sit there and be like, oh, I know this, 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 and this. He knows that you know that. You know that you know that. And you should be content in the fact that you're in the same spot that he is in, because you worked to get there just the exact same way he did. He took the same steps, or you took even better steps than he did to be in the same room. So don't try to sit there and just prove to everybody like, "Oh, I'm a girl, but I know football." Like, girl, we know you know football. You know football. Be there for what you're there for. And that may be to ask questions, that may be to do social media. Whatever the case may be, do not try to prove yourself to say like, hey, I belong in this room, because you're already proved that to whoever placed you in the room, if that makes sense. Um, Another thing, with the fact that people are always just assuming that you are there to maybe fetch something, especially, um, don't allow that to make you shrink. I know there were times where I would go to a practice and coaches will walk up to me and ask me multiple times after they spoke to me like a practice before, and I would introduce myself. They're like, "Who are you again? Like, what are you here for?" Especially if I had to put on like some type of professional clothes, or I may have worn makeup to that practice because I plan on doing an interview after. They're like, "Hey, what's your name?" "Oh, you need to wear a name tag." Somebody literally had to step in for me one time and say, "She's been here before. She's been coming here for almost a year to 2 years. Like, she was here last season. She works for Pitt." Like, somebody literally came up and just questioned everything that I did. There was even a guy standing next to me, and he told me specifically that I needed a name tag because my assumption was that you're just assuming that I'm just maybe somebody's girlfriend, or I'm here, or maybe I'm playing sports. I don't know. Like, you just think that I'm playing this role as a media person just to get close to certain people. I feel like that's very common in the world of sports. A lot of people, I don't know, may have seen when Maria Taylor was sexualized just for wearing something off the shoulders, like the clothes that we wear. We have to deal with it 24/7. But I want people to know, like, you have to be able to take that power and just use it as fuel, okay? Use it as fuel to surpass those people that are questioning your abilities to be in the rooms that you are placed in. Um, and yeah, it's hard. I can't even say don't let it phase you, because it's going to phase you. It's gonna make you second guess yourself, but you just have to kind of block it out, like block the haters out, block those people who are coming up to you like, "Hey, you need a name tag." No, I don't. My name speaks for me before I even arrive in the room. And that kind of will just help you build confidence going into each and every room that you enter. Um Another comment that I want to speak on about being the only woman is, don't let these people, these men, fool you into thinking that you are a groupie or that you're trying to be one of the guys, because that is not true. Um, I've had a couple of people, even I was interested in sports a long time ago. I wasn't the girl like playing on the swings or playing on the playground. I was the girl lining up on the cement, racing the boys, beating them, talking about football, talking about if LeBron James is better than Kevin Durant. And it wasn't until I got to college pursuing what I was pursuing that some people thought that I was just trying to know football to become one of the guys. And it's just like, back then, I think somebody told me that when I was around like 19, 20. It offended me real bad. I'm like, just because I'm interested in a sport that's nationally known, globally known, everybody watches it on a Sunday, I'm trying to be one of the guys just because I may have an interest that you have. Like, he basically just stereotyped the mess out of me for no reason. And it did. It made me want to kind of dumb myself down at that point. And I didn't even know the guy. It was just a random person. But all of that, you're a groupie, you want to be one of the guys. It's like, you just got to take that on the chin. Because how are you just trying to be one of the guys when all you want to do is be successful and have equal opportunity as these men? You're not sitting there trying to be a football player. You're not trying to be a basketball player in the NBA. You can go to the WNBA and you are fine with that. But the fact that some men will walk around and assume that you just want to be one of the guys because you are interested in the same thing he's interested in. Makes no sense. And that's why it's important when you are the only person in the room to have this kind of confidence with you, because you have to be able to hear the comments and keep it pushing. I feel like I've developed that as I've gotten older. Like I said, he said that to me years ago. And now I'm able to be like, I'm here doing my job. I'm meant to be here. I put in the work to be here. Nobody can make me second guess myself on why I'm here. And for real, being the only woman in the room gives you an advantage in most situations, because your voice is going to be heard, but you have to make sure it's heard. I'm not saying be the loudest person in the room, but maybe, pull a little Kamala Harris on them, like, I'm speaking. And they are going to be required to give you that same respect that they are giving their other male peers, because your voice matters. Our voice matters. Women, black women, women in sports, women in tech, whatever the case may be, our voices matter. And all of that starts from within. You have to make sure that your voice even matters to yourself before you go out into these rooms and expect somebody to listen to you. Do you think your ideas are good? Do you think that these ideas will flourish? If you're an interviewer, do you think that these questions will catch them? Do you think it'll catch people's eye? Do you think that this is the video that's going to make you blow up? All of that stuff starts from within, and then it'll naturally begin to show on the outside. It'll show to your audience. I know for me, it took me a minute to get there, and I'm still kind of working on it because, like I said early on in the video, I'm still a mess about the interview. I didn't hear anything back yet, but I'm just like, yo, this is something totally different. There is no way that they're gonna want to hear me, like, in hockey. I'm just like, I'm still starstruck about the fact that I was even able to get an interview. But like I said, I had to ground myself in knowing, like, hey, you've done this. You've done hard things. You've been in rooms that you were unfamiliar with, and you succeeded and you surpassed those rooms to the point where your name was put in other rooms. Like, once you are able to stay confident in who you are, it'll literally just exude and it'll show in whatever room that you are in. And I want everybody listening, any woman, to know that even though you are in a male dominant field, it doesn't make you a groupie. It doesn't make you a copycat. It doesn't make you like a girl who's seeking attention. I want you to know that you are the blueprint, especially women in sports. You are the blueprint in any room that you are in. Black women in sports, you are the blueprint in any room that you step in, because although that these people or these men may have never seen something like you before, you are placed in that room for a reason, because there are other women that are going to come behind you who will thank you for having the courage to step up and be placed in that room. And I even seen that happen for myself, where I was the only girl, especially the only black girl, in every classroom, in every media meeting, in every football meeting or press conference, to the point where when I started bringing other young girls behind me, they're just like, thank you. And I'm like, man, I didn't even do anything but face my fear, which is being the only woman in the room. So I say all of this to say there is power in being the only woman. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let it hold back your dreams or your voice. Stay confident in who you are. Stay confident in your path, and knowing that you are placed where you are placed for a reason. Your lane is your lane for a reason, and stay in it. Okay? So thank you guys so much for listening. I really hope that touched somebody, and I feel like the girl that I was this morning really needed to hear that today. So thank you so much. If you guys are enjoying like the solo videos of me trying to be encouraging, let me know. Also, these hoodies, I have some She's Got the Lead hoodies. They've been posted on my Instagram page. So if you guys are interested in any of these hoodies for purchase, please just DM me on Instagram. And this episode will be released this Friday, July 11th, and it'll be available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. So thank you guys so much for listening.